And you know how Steppin with Marcus J live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all everybody for checking in with us, being with us. Special thank you to our sister Joy. We ain't heard from Joy in a little while. We appreciate our sister checking us out. She said that's her jam, so she's enjoying that. So I'm glad that we made you happy. Welcome back to the show. At this time of the show, every single week, we always profile a missing and/or exploited child. Tonight is no different. Tonight's missing child is Denise Green. She's been missing since January 23rd, just a couple of days ago, from right here in Richmond, Virginia, Henrico, actually, to be exact. She's 16 years old. She's a black female. She's got brown hair and brown eyes. She stands 5 foot 2 inches, weighs 131 pounds. She was wearing a white jersey with Denise in black letters, blue jeans, white tennis shoes, and carrying a black bag. She wears glasses in this photograph here. If you've seen Denise Green, please contact the Henrico County Police Department here in Virginia, 804-501-5000, or contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. 1-800-843-5678, or hit them on their website, missingkids.com. We got to bring these babies home, y'all. There's a lot of kids that we profiled that are still missing. And unfortunately, as we continue to do this show, there are going to be children who are home today that will be missing in the future. So keep your eyes open so that we can bring these babies home. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio, of course. Moving on to the rest of the show. But before we do that, of course, I got to pay homage and give some love to my co-host who has just stepped in the door. So I want to give some love to my sister, S.Y. Butler. What's up, baby?
Hi, darling.
How you all doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. It's good to see you. You all right?
Good to see you. Yes, I'm great today.
You ready to ask what the hell is going on with these people and the stuff and this blase, blah, 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 blah,
get down.
blah, 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 blah,
Blase, blase, blah.
blah, 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 blah. All right, this one I'm getting from the Grio.com. I liked Grio. Haven't used it in a while, but getting this one from the Grio. High school freshman slams his teacher to the ground after the teacher took his phone. In Paterson, New Jersey. I'm sure it wasn't Joe Clark's school, but
No, it wasn't.
in Paterson, New Jersey, a freshman has been suspended and criminally charged with assaulting his teacher during an effort to get his cell phone back. According to NorthJersey.com, the assault at John F. Kennedy High School was captured on a cell phone video during class Tuesday. One of the students in the room recorded as the student wrestled with the 62-year-old teacher and slammed into the floor. The student then grabbed something from the teacher before he shouted security. The school allows the use of cell phones for educational purposes but gives teacher leeway to confiscate phones until the end of class period if the phones are used improperly. Quote, it's troubling that in our society, today's students think inside of school they can put their hands on each other and teachers as well. This is Jonathan Hodges, a veteran school board member. He told NorthJersey.com, quote, I went online trying to find this video and I found numerous videos of teachers being attacked by students. While JFK previously is described as chaotic, city officials are working hard to clean up the school. The district has worked extremely hard to provide a safe and caring environment for our students and staff, and we have succeeded in this area. This is what Terry Corralo, a district spokeswoman, has said in a written statement. The superintendent feels confident in Mr. Cozart's leadership and knows that Mr. Cozart will work to aggressively ensure the JFK building is a safe place for teachers and students alike, end quote. That's why. This teacher got into it with a student, or the student got into it with his teacher over a cell phone. What you think?
Well, you know what? I only hope that the teacher's okay. And I hope they do prosecute the child because he had no business doing that. Now, if they allow you to use your cell phone for educational purpose, that's a plus. That's a plus. So if he wasn't doing that and the teachers do have the right to confiscate the cell phones, then the teacher did what was in his right to do. So for him to body slam the teacher, I hope they do get him out of line.
Joy said that's crazy as hell, Diva. I know that you have an educational background, so I'm curious to know what your opinion is on the story, Diva. What you think?
I've seen numerous stories similar to that where, the teacher was doing their job and the kid bucking at them and want to fight and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. I think they do need to tighten up security, and they need to tighten up penalty on the children who do these type of things.
Big bro, what you think, man? Student got into it with a teacher over a cell phone. It looks like the teacher was trying to snatch the cell phone from the student. Student was not happy about it and replied by putting the teacher down. What you think?
First of all, that's the issue that I have with children right now. You know, if you're a child, you should be in a child's place, and I hold the parents responsible for not educating their children on discipline and understanding discipline. Now, that being said, there's always a way that you approach people. I don't think that if the way it read that teacher snatched anything from that child, it was right. Now, does it warrant what happened? No. Do I understand a little bit? Yes. Would I beat the brakes off of my child if they did something like that? Yes. Do I believe that the teacher should have stumped a mud hole in him after that? Yes. All that being said, I still think it's a certain way that you should approach it. And I still hold the parents totally responsible for not teaching their children better.
You know, for me, hearing this story, I'm conflicted because you can't put your hands on nobody, period. And a freshman, depending on how smart or dumb you are, you're anywhere between 13 and 16 years old. And that's an age where you should still have not just respect for authority, there should be a level of fear for authority in that age range. And for you to go to school and feel like you can fight the teacher for any reason, to me, is out of control, man. I mean, I think that there has to be some sort of blame laid upon the feet of the parents for this child to think that it's okay to fight the teacher. I agree with you, Joe, when you say that there's a way that you have to approach people. And so I wonder how the teacher approached the student in effort to get this phone. But the student to think that the response would be, let me beat this teacher up. I just, man, I have a hard time thinking that a 62-year-old teacher, you got to guess that they've been in the classroom a long time at 62 years old. And so at 62, you got to figure that they know that you can't fight a kid. So I don't think this teacher came at the kid aggressively with the let's fight type of attitude. He was probably wheeled in as a male teacher, by the way. I don't know if I've made that part clear. He probably came at the kid aggressive, you know, in an authority type of way because he is a male, one, and he is a teacher, two. Give me that phone. It's probably how he went at him. But I don't think give me that phone is appropriately responded to with, all right, let's fight, and we rolling around in the classroom. Go ahead, Joe.
Now, I like I said, I agree with you. I still know that, and this goes, it goes back to what I had on my Facebook post the other day about the fact that when are children allowed to make their own decisions? And if parents are not teaching their children the respect that's needed or warranted for adults and authority, and they get away, then yeah, I mean, you know, we really don't know what happened in the whole situation. I mean, we can say a lot of stuff, but you know what? That 62-year-old man might have been like my pops. And if he caught an attitude from the kid after he told him, look, put the phone away. Yo, put the phone away. Give me the phone. You know, it just depends on how it comes off. Now, because I know my old dude. Yeah. He been to snatch the phone. And, he probably would have.
But you know what?
May not even thought about it.
He might not even thought about it.
Yeah.
What's even wrong with that? Because if he addressed him once or twice about the phone and he still didn't put it away, I still don't see anything wrong with him just walking up and snatching the phone. I don't see anything wrong with it.
I'd have broke it.
Well, I wouldn't have broken it.
I'd have smacked out his hand. I would have.
But I would have still, like snatched.
I'm just saying, I'm playing devil's advocate on that because I still say that the child had no respect and no manners and had no home training.
Not at
but
all.
then again, you know what? The kid could have and just thought that he was going to do what he wanted to do because it was a 62-year-old man. And what you going to do to me?
Then
and he got his card pulled around his boys.
He does not respect authority. He does not
home
respect
either.
his
Well,
elders.
okay.
Nothing.
Because if he had respect at home, then he would be
He wouldn't have done
afraid
that,
to do
yeah.
something like that.
I'm afraid.
Because mama would.
Yeah.
Daddy
My
or
mama would still
would've
hit me
tore
with a
that
frying
up.
pan. Yeah, real talk.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Little unruly rascal.
I would really like to know what actually happened. Or you know how you get yourself in trouble when the kids want to boost you up. Yo, you 13. Yo, you fresh on the block. You trying to get in there. You trying to make a name. You
Little peer pressure.
Look, I don't even call it peer pressure no more. It's peer influence.
Okay. Oh.
Yes, you're influenced by society.
wow.
You don't pressure me. But it's just, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad when society allows that to happen.
Well, if they go ahead and
Hey,
make an
Marcus.
example of this
Yes, sir.
kid, then maybe the next student will learn or think about it, and so on and so on. And so finally, there's a little common sense.
I'm curious
going
though,
on.
right? Was this a white teacher or was it a black teacher?
It was judging by the photograph, it looks like it is a white teacher.
And the black kid?
Judging by the name of the school and where the school is,
Yeah.
because
Mic drop.
what I know,
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't. The article doesn't allude to it. I don't think, but I mean, it is also a video here, which I
I
could.
don't even think
I
that
could
would
play-
even matter in this.
I'll see if I
can
can play a little bit of this video here and see if we can see it. Now, just for the record, we're looking at the video here, and it is a black student who is a little bit smaller than the teacher, and the student is wrestling the teacher to the
Ooh.
ground. He just slammed him down to the ground.
Well,
We're
he
looking
didn't
at the
really
video.
slam him. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
he put him
not
down.
He put him down.
He had a little struggle.
There was a struggle. He snatched his phone back, and the teacher got back up. So we just watched the video. It's a 24-second clip. Just as we're talking, we just watched the clip, and Joe says it wasn't a slam. I say it was a slam. So, that's I guess semantics.
That's semantics. Yeah, that means
it's
nothing.
semantics.
I
but
think it was just put down.
it was a put down. Okay, fair enough.
Have a seat.
I'll take that. But the point is,
He
there is
shouldn't have
clearly
done it.
a physical altercation between the teacher and the student, and
But you know what's funny? If it was the reverse, and I gotta play devil's advocate on, for you to tell me at first that he slammed the teacher, I'm thinking he picked this dude up and dumped
Yeah.
him. It looks more like they were tussling. He was still trying to get the phone. He tripped up in the corner. I mean,
Teachers
how does Fox
balance.
News do this all the time? That was a Fox News moment for me.
tell me why
Well, because
you didn't like the word slam.
I didn't like think about it. If you say slam, the first thing you articulate with slam, or the first thing you think of is, I'm thinking that he beat the brakes off the dude, that he picked him up and slammed him on the, which he probably could have. That wasn't no small, 62 years old, that wasn't no small teacher.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he squared him and was boxing, it was tussling.
Oh, he's 62 years old.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
look
like
at the
he's a
teacher, though.
young
Look at the
guy.
teacher.
We're looking at it. Oh my goodness!
What?
we just had a visitor. We just had a visitor walk in the door who doesn't want to be identified. But
That was very aggressive.
That's a him problem. I'm
Really?
gonna give him some love here in a minute.
That was a slam.
I think that was in fact a slam, and we can argue and we can debate, and the semantics. So I don't want to take any time to kind of really go too far with regards to that. The fact of the matter is there was an altercation between the teacher and the student, and it was over something stupid. It was not enough for there to be any pain involved. I think if somebody got hurt there, then they're a little bit delicate. Because it
That's
wasn't
62
He's an old man.
yeah,
That
Come
dude does
on.
not look
He
old.
slammed him on the floor.
Okay, well,
You
again,
sensitive.
I don't want to get too far
Yeah.
into that part. I think that the point of the matter is there was a physical altercation between the teacher and the student that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
And that
We
in
all agree
fact
on that.
and that in fact is where the problem lies. Ain't no half stepping. With Marcus J live from the den of Legacy and Net Radio. Our special guest just walked in the door. I'm not going to call him out unless he asks to be called out, but I do want to thank him for being his first time here in studio. He usually listens to us and critiques us on the air and tells me when I'm messing up. So I guess now he can make a note and show it to me since he ain't going to grab the mic. So I'm picking on him, and I think I just told the listeners, if you listen to us all the time, who it is. But that's cool. We got love for the brother. Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We teased a little while ago that we were going to talk a little bit about some bullying here on the show, and this next story is interesting. You know, we got, you know, fathers in the room, and you know, this one is something that as a dad, you know, we will certainly have an opinion on. So Joe, I want you on this one first. As Minnesota dad, he went on YouTube to defend his cyberbullied daughter. School district in Minnesota is looking into the allegations of bullying after the father's online effort to fight back. Brad Knudsen went on YouTube to expose the alleged bullies who he said targeted his 14-year-old daughter. As of Friday morning, the video had been viewed more than 1.4 million times. But his online crusade also turned up a surprise in his own home. Dee Knudsen is the youngest of 5 children in the family who live in Prior Lake, Minnesota. Her parents adopted her at age 3. She's grown up into a devoted athlete and a bit of a daddy's girl. She said the cross-cultural family sometimes gets some stares, but nothing like what happened on New Year's Eve. Quote, I looked at my phone and there was just a random video saying that I was the N-word and I was a slut. This is what Dee Dee said. Some teens Dee Dee barely knew sent her a series of snapshots, video messages that disappear after they're played. When Dad was told, he was able to catch one of them on video. You're such a slut, N-word, 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 is what the video said. Knudsen filed a police report and didn't want to press charges, but did want to talk to the parents of the 9th graders who sent the Snapchat. After a heated discussion, Knudsen shared the whole story on YouTube. He played both the snapshot video sent to his daughter and the response he received from the father of the teens who sent it. Quote, ultimately, it's the parents who are going to stop this behavior, and he clearly told me that it was acceptable in his house. This is what Knudsen said of the father. But it was also brought to light an issue in his own home. A day after his video was released, his daughter made a snapshot of her own using the same racial slur. Let's go, N-word, let's go. This is what Dee Dee said in the video. I was excited, not paying attention to what I was saying, but I did use it in a different meaning for those folks who like to use that word. Dad, of course, was not pleased. I am very, very disappointed that my daughter at first did not learn from this experience. This is what Dad said. He and his wife are starting a support group to share with other parents what they've learned, but the person he hopes to reach the most is the dad of the person who sent the offensive message. I would like to have a discussion with him about how it made me feel as a father to hear those words and help him understand what this has done to me and my family, Knudsen said, end quote. So, Joe, you up first. A lot to respond to there, so I won't set it up. Why don't you respond based upon what you heard?
Well, let's see. Where can we start?
There's a lot to worry. There's a lot to weed through on that one.
We can start with parents once again. You know what? Let's cut through the nonsense of the children for a moment. And let's go back to the fact that ignorance and stupidity is alive and well and rampant in our society still. And when parents are too dumb to make a change, then children have no choice. Ooh, did I use that word? Let me restructure that. Children have a choice, but they only do what they're taught and what they see. A lot of times, me being a father, and help me out. I wish I could get hold of somebody else, but they're not gonna talk to me right now. But knowing how I feel about my daughters, if I know that it was another child, and then I went to the parent, because I probably would have. I wouldn't even have emailed. I would have went to the parent. I would have. Because then I want to see what type of person you are. And I'm a hothead. So I would have taken Marcus J with me because he's my better half sometimes when it comes to certain things.
He should calm down, man.
Yeah, he's that one.
I give you a little reference, a wrestling reference. You ever watch wrestling and see The Undertaker? And he hung out with the dude, Paul Bearer, who used to have this urn. And every time Undertaker looked at the urn, he calmed down. I am Paul Bearer, and he is The Undertaker.
Lord, y'all.
So if you watch wrestling, you get it. That accurate, bro?
That's accurate. That's accurate.
Good? Okay.
Because it's scary to think what, after understanding what happened, if the parent would have, because I know what the parent would have said something,
Yeah, they
something
would've went
slick
off.
out the
Yeah.
mouth,
Yeah.
and then I would have been in jail.
Because you would react to
Because
just.
I
you know
would,
what,
yeah,
though?
I
You know
would have
what, though?
reacted.
You know what,
But that's just me.
I would have too.
I don't
You know
think
the
it's
thing with
right,
that, though?
but it's
people,
it's me.
people, as Ruben would say, are text message gangsters. People can be tough on the phone or tough behind a computer or a
Yeah.
keyboard or whatever, and a lot of what they say in that setting they would never say to your face, which is a lot of what we deal with in this world. Basically, the world is primarily composed with mostly punks. Basically,
Agreed.
and so I think that if you showed up, not because you're physically imposing, but because you showed up as a parent, I think the response physically may have been different. Now, he may have still remained defiant, but he would have been more respectful in his defiance, in my personal opinion, because it's more difficult for you to tell somebody, you know, go away on the computer. And I didn't mean go away.
Yeah, we know what
Fill-
you meant.
fill in
Fill
your
it in
own-
the blanks.
fill in your own blanks there. But I honestly think, believe that. That's why we know you got children, adult children. What's your thoughts when you hear this? I mean, I know times are different now than they were when your girls were coming up. You know, when you hear this, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm a little ticked off about it. I'd be just like Big Joe here. I would definitely be at the. I wouldn't go to the child with it. I would definitely get to the house. I would go to the parent, and I would be like, "This is what your kid did." Blah blah blah. You know, I probably would have been in trouble. I would have been in trouble.
I have been a parent who I've had to step to people to defend my child. I've been there. You know what I mean? And I'm just not built punk. Not built that way.
And I don't see why anyone would. This is your child.
Yeah, man.
And it is your responsibility to keep that kid safe by
Yep.
any means necessary,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
I tell you, when you feel your child is being disrespected, it creates
It's
a kind of
it's a burn.
it's a
that-
hostile
a
environment.
different kind of rage than any other kind of rage.
Yep.
You know, like I had a situation with my daughter in school and in a school event that absolutely enraged me. You know, to the point where I was literally shaking with anger.
That's what it does.
I was shaking
That's
with
exactly what it does.
anger.
Yep.
At it, and it took me a long time to get over
Yep.
that one. So
That's exactly what
when
it
I
is.
when I hear this, so let me kind of break this one down a little bit more, because there's a few things going on here. Diva, here's where I want you to jump in. The fact that this girl was offended, rightfully so, by the usage of these words and how people were speaking to her and how they were treating her, but then she turned around and used it so freely that it was nothing to it. She was like, oh my bad, I meant it in a different way. So in your opinion, just in your own opinion, talk to me about how many of us in our community have this dual relationship with the words. Some folks can use it, some folks can't. What's the deal with that in your opinion?
Okay, so my question would be, how did she mean it after he finished calling her out of her name? She had to mean it in an even worse context, because she's not saying it like, you're my homie. So how
Because
is
she's
she
mad.
using the N word in a negative manner? She's just as guilty, because you were going back
She's
and
worse.
forth.
She's worse. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
but see,
we're
you got
going
a
back
lot
and forth.
You got a lot of people that think that it's all right, though. They'll look you square in the eye and say, we mean it as a term of endearment, and
BS.
we're
I don't
taking
agree.
the power away from it. But soon as somebody white say it to you, you want to evoke Malcolm X with your fist in the air. You just
Right.
as punk to
Right.
me as the person who said it to you. I can't stand the word personally, and I think that anybody who tries to use that weak argument of taking the power out of it needs to grab a history book and
That's
look
the
at
excuse they
the
use for
people
not knowing.
swinging from a tree and being lynched, and the last thing they ever heard was that word.
Right.
I
I definitely, I don't like, I won't say I don't use it or I haven't ever used it. I do, but I don't like when people use that excuse. Oh, I just was using it as a term of endearment. That's not what the word was created for.
Well, when
It
you-
was to stereotype and to put people down.
when you know
So,
better, you do better. And I'm not
Right.
going. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and sit here and say I've never used the word. I have.
We all have.
I grew up using the word, and then also in the interest of full disclosure, I got so enraged a few months ago, I actually slipped out the word. You know, and the first thing that I did was call up my brother K-Dub and was like, yo, did you hear what I just... Matter of fact, I was on the
You
phone
was
with
on
him. I was on the phone with him. I was actually on the phone with Dub, and something happened, and the words slipped out of my mouth, and he didn't even realize that I had said it, and I caught it.
Right.
And I apologized to him, and I apologized to my own spirit for actually uttering the word, but that's being conscious.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm just saying that we should just all be a little bit more conscious about it. I know we got off of the tangent with regards to that story, but I think that that was necessary because that was the word that offended her, and she turns around and uses it. And I know that's not the point of that story. That's not the part of the story that is the reason why it is a story, but that's the part that jumped out at me. You know how Steppin with Marcus J. Keeping with the cyberbullying, I got this one from my brother, Mr. LP Steven Sykes, who hosts Enliven Radio, the Tuesday night show here on Legacy Internet Radio. He's actually in the building tonight, so I do want him to comment first on this next story. I'm getting this one from thinkprogress.com. .org, I'm sorry. This is about Illinois schools who actually want to require students to hand over their Facebook passwords. Students in Illinois could have to hand over their social media passwords to the school officials if they are suspected of cyberbullying thanks to a new online harassment law. Illinois school officials in the Triad Community Schools districts began warning parents that students may be asked to hand over their passwords to social media sites such as Twitter and Facebook if they are related to or involved in cyberbullying incidents. If your child has an account on social media website, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Ask, etc., please be aware the state law requires school authorities to notify you that your child may be asked to provide his or her password for these accounts to school officials in certain circumstances, quote, according to a letter obtained by the motherboard. Effective January 1st, the Illinois state legislature passed a new law that defined cyberbullying as carrying the same weight as it does in person. The law also tasked school administrators to thoroughly investigate cases where students being intimidated, threatened, or harassed online, even if the cyberbullying doesn't happen during school hours or on school property. There's a lot more here in the article. I do think that we have it properly set up. Mr. LP, first of all, welcome to Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. Your presence is always welcome. It's good to see you.
Blessings.
And so you are the one who enlightened me to this particular story. So I want your brief comment on this one first. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm puzzled in terms of I'm still on the fence because I don't understand. Usually when it comes to any type of crime or something like that, technically you don't even need that person. You can go to the police and contact. There's parameters that police and government have to contact Facebook in order to get access to the account anyway, without having to get involved the kid anyway. Two, kids are typically for the most part smarter unless you got somebody at tech like ourselves to access accounts or know how to search things, where they'll just delete stuff and everything and delete it off their whole account. And much less they'll just create new accounts and they'll create new accounts, cyberbully, and then delete it. And so there's no way of necessarily tracking anyway. At the same time, I think this is where my issues with parents overall is not taking the time out to A, learn what your children doing. B, honestly, if you have a kid living in your house and you're sleeping under your roof and you paying the bills, you need to have access to their accounts anyway.
That's why. What you think?
Well, you know what? In an effort to stop the bullying, I think it's a good idea. Whether or not the kids do it is another thing. Whether or not the parents make them do it is another thing. Half of the parents probably don't even know, like Stephen was saying, that their kid even has, a social media account. It's the only way to, it's one way, I guess, to try and help stop it. See who's doing it. Get a hold of that kid in the school. Let the parents know this is what's going on. I think it's a good idea. I think they should give it up.
Got a couple of comments here on social media. First from Kathy. Kathy is agreeing, saying you are committing the crime. She believes they should require a search warrant still. Lori Ann says she agrees with this. Bullying is out of control. If you're doing anything wrong, if you aren't doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have a problem with it. Too many people these days try and hide behind laws. Big bro, What's your thoughts?
I think that just like anything else, I disagree. I think it's illegal. I think it's illegal, first of all, for you to sit there and demand that a child. Well, you know what? They didn't even say that they're going to. They said they could ask. Let me change that. Because I'm going on the premise that, you don't ask a person who's writing a story to diverge that's their First Amendment right to write a story, and then they can hold that person who could be their source and not do certain things. I mean, it kind of falls under the same premise. Cyberbullying, you know how many times people can be hacked and put stuff on your page? Hey, come on now. It's not that difficult to do.
Yep.
And my other thing is, and I'm not saying it's right, but if you have something else on your page that you don't want somebody to see, if they get access to it,
You're wide open.
then you're open to any other litigation and legal activity that potentially could go from there. That's what I don't like about it.
Diva?
I agree with Joe. I was sitting here thinking about the privacy of the child. If they're innocent, is that really fair
Right.
to the child? And then the ones that are guilty, are they really going to say, okay, here's my password and, check my account?
Right.
So how effective would it really be in the first place?
It reminds me of those stories where you have, and we're in Virginia, we can talk about what happened in Charlottesville when you had DNA that said a black man was raping women, but they didn't know who it was, so they wanted DNA samples from all the black men in Charlottesville, and then eventually they would get a hit. Well, guess what? If I'm a black man living in Charlottesville, hell no, I'm not giving you no DNA.
Nope.
There's no freaking way. I'm not giving DNA unless I'm subpoenaed, period. That's the way that works. And so that is the theory that I would apply to this. While I understand and respect someone's comment, I think Lorianne was the one, if you're not doing nothing wrong, then you shouldn't have nothing to hide. That is the kind of thinking that gets you closer to martial law, and it gets you closer to agreeing to submission in things that when you're on that runaway train, there's no way to go back. I'm not going to make it easy for you, especially if I know I haven't done anything wrong. And if I got something to hide, I got the right to remain silent. So if my parents choose to dime me out, I guess there's nothing I could do about that. But I'm not giving it up unless I'm forced.
Do you have to
That's
be a
just
certain age to have a Facebook account?
you
or
should be, but
social
we all know.
Really?
That, yeah. I mean, you should be.
13.
But we
Okay.
all know that there's ways around that. I mean, I
I
know.
was just wondering,
I mean, they really don't check. It's not. I mean, you can just put how old you want to be.
You put anything you want. You can put anything you want.
No, that's not where I meant. If the school was going to try to get information, and let's say I had a Facebook account and I didn't want to give up my information, whether there was a way the school could just, like you said, they can go ahead and maybe subpoena that information if they really wanted it, who do that owns Facebook. But I was just saying, if there was an age limit and the kids refuse to give it up, they can still just go ahead and get it if they don't meet that age limit.
Yeah.
But
So you
13,
talking about a
come on.
loophole where they can get them. I suppose it's possible.
I mean,
Well, I
but
still
at
say,
13,
as a
pretty
child-
much by then, everybody has one. It's legal. You can
The
have
child,
it.
they still have to go through my parents.
Yeah, you got to go to the parents.
You got to go through my parents
You got
first.
to go to the parents.
And the majority of my parents. Yeah,
But then the other thing with the only thing with that though, Joe, the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm thinking about it. If we end up with the parent that's like the parent in that last story we did, who basically
Yeah.
was like, "That's how it goes down in my house."
then you subpoena
You
it.
won't
Then
get-
then you can get a
Gotta
subpoena
let the law work
because
sometime.
that is, if it's a law, then you can use that subpoena to get what you need. But I don't know that I'm voluntarily giving that up. Ain't no how Steppin, Marcus J, live from the den. Legacy Internet Radio. I got two more quick ones I want to get to. This one is out of Detroit, and the next one is what Jesus had to say based on the word of a Fox News correspondent about a recent movie. That's the last thing we'll get to in this segment. But this one, Big Bro Joe, I'm pissed about this man that may be jailed for not paying child support for a son that isn't his. It's in Michigan. The child he's accused of not paying child support for is not his. It's Carnell Alexander. He walked out of Frank Murphy Hall of Justice Friday knowing in moments he could lose his freedom. Through DNA tests, they proved that it's not his child, but he still owes more than $30,000 to the state because the child's mother used his name as the father to get welfare benefits. Under Michigan law, that means Alexander owes child support. But an attorney who saw the story on the news, of course, wants to help. Quote, "I'm just trying to help him with his future," said attorney Sharika Harris. "I'm almost homeless. I'm almost in jail. I am out of work," said Alexander. "My money is being threatened to be taken." Alexander says the law needs to be changed so when this happens, as it often does, other men don't become dads by default. "We can be defaulted into being a father of a child that is not ours," he said. "I don't understand the law, but it is a law that is in place." Big bro, you're up first. What
It's
you
called Dana, DNA. You know what the courts first do when you go to do child support and things of that nature? If you do not believe that that's your child, then you have the right to have a DNA test. If the child is found out that it is yours, then you have to pay for the DNA test. If the child is not yours, you do not. Keep it moving. First of all, like you said, she got benefits how long ago? And you just coming up with this?
It does not allude to how old the child was in this particular article. It doesn't allude to how old the child is and how long this story has been going on, but it says that he owes more than $30,000 to the state.
Well, $30,000 is it's quite a bit of time. I mean, even though the stuff can add up, that's at least a year minimum.
Shouldn't she be arrested right about now?
If it's fraud, well, no, because he probably knew about it. And he probably was getting some kickback to it too.
But
Quit
yeah.
playing.
Yeah, but it says probably. You say probably. I mean,
Well, I say probably
we
for the
don't
simple
know.
fact. So, first of all, fraud can be committed on many different ends. You can get some people who living up in the house, who these dudes that be living up in the house, and I'm gonna
She's
tell
getting
him,
the money.
yeah, she's getting the money from the state. Doesn't mean that he has paid a dime. Just because trust
He
and
doesn't
believe.
have to. It's not his kid. Am
No,
I
but
missing
we
something
don't.
here?
He didn't. He never justified. He's waited this long to figure out
What
what
if
it
he
was.
didn't know she did the paperwork with his name on it? And what if they just came to him saying, "Oh, you owe $30,000"?
Well, and like I said, court at that time you can get Dana.
But they already determined that the baby's not his or the child is not his.
Well, did she put it on there? Like I said, that
she's
just
the
seems
one who
fishy,
committed
y'all.
the fraud.
I know a lot of dirt chicks who would do some of the same stuff.
Pick a hole up and drag that sucker under the dirt. She's the one who did it.
Yeah,
She is the one who should be getting into trouble, not him.
All right, I guess I searched as we're talking. I found another article that gives us a little bit more information. Paternity test confirmed. Alexander is not the father of the child born in 1987. Listen. He didn't learn of the child until 1991 when a police officer called him a deadbeat dad during a traffic stop. I knew I didn't have a child, so I was blown away. So apparently the child's mother admits, quote, "Everything is my fault. He shouldn't have to pay it at all. I want everything to go away for him so that he can get on with his life." The judge eventually forgave the debt owed the child's mother, but not half of the original sum owed to the state. It was $69,000 that has been cut down to 30. So
That's 10.
So we're getting a little bit more information. So basically, 1987, the child was born. He finds out about it in 1991. They do the DNA test. The child is not his. Mom says, "I wrote his name down. I did all of this. He ain't got nothing to do with this." But the state is like, "So what? His name's on the papers. We want our money."
Then that's wrong.
Diva?
Yeah, it's very wrong. I really feel for this young man or older man, whoever he is.
SMH.
That's
This is a classic
Crazy.
case when y'all hear me talk about Law and Order. This is one of those Law and Order cases that has absolutely gone bad because we can sit here and we can say, well, his name is on the paper, he owes the money, but where's the common sense, people? You know what I'm saying? Where's the common sense?
It's not so common.
It's not so common, and it's free to be stupid.
Yeah, it's free.
And it's just, I feel bad for this dude because his life is destroyed, and it's not like one of those situations where, he's in prison forever and he gets out 30 years later when DNA test confirms it. He ain't even gone. Like, we can right this wrong really easily. You know what I mean? If you wrote off the money that was owed to her, we write that off. We'll write off the money that's owed to the civilian, which is consistent with how our government, it screws the middle class and lower class anyway. We'll write that off, but we're not going to write off the money that's owed to the government when you know that the person that you're pursuing has nothing to do with it, and the person who committed the fraud is telling you, "I did this."
and she doesn't get any penalty.
It doesn't appear. I mean, because I've looked up the story in a couple of different places, and it doesn't say anything about any penalty to her. It might be something that I'm missing.
She should owe that money.
Yeah, she absolutely should owe
But
that
That
money.
means that they will have to prosecute her and not a lot of
Okay, Okay, well,
Not
it's
a
like
lot
they
of
gotta
jurisdictions
find the
really
baby
want to
daddy
do
'cause
it.
I
he
don't
needs
even-
somebody to stay with. He's an adult now.
Joy's
Wow.
getting a kick out of you, Joe.
Lock it up.
Joy's getting a kick out of you when you used the phrase Dana. That's the way we call DNA these
Yeah.
days.
It is
Let's call,
Dana.
let's call Dana. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all if you listen to us on YouTube, on our replays, or if you're listening to the live show right now. Heard on TuneIn, you pulling up our Legacy Internet Radio website. We appreciate all of the love that we have been getting here from our longtime listeners, as well as the new folks that are listening to us here, right here on Legacy Internet Radio. We appreciate it. This next one is it's kind of a trip. This one is about a Fox News radio host who went on the radio, and he says that Jesus would thank American Sniper for sending the godless Muslims to the lake of fire. Yeah, that's why I want you on this one first as you put the mic down. Nah, don't grab the mic. I want you on this one first. What you think? What you think about this? Fox News.
I got no comment.
All right, Diva, what you think?
Can I do the same thing? Pass.
Joe, what you think?
Oh, you know I'm not gonna pass.
Yeah,
you know,
I know, because my ladies just failed me.
You
but
know
that's
I'm not
all
gonna
right.
pass on
They-
that. I
they-
mean-
they failed me.
Fox News.
I don't know what to say.
Really? Now you know you and I had a
Jesus would thank American Sniper for sending godless Muslims to the lake of fire.
okay.
I just wanted to say it one more time before you said anything.
Okay, and once again, let's just take what he said and put it in the forefront. He's an idiot to begin with. Let's just be clear. You and I had a debate and a discussion about the sniper situation, and I told
2 days ago.
2 days ago, and I told you what I thought about that, and you made a comment to me that I can't celebrate someone who took somebody else's life, and I told you that I totally understood that. My counterpoint to that was I've been in a situation and I've been across that water where I thank the good Lord that I had those guys that had my back, because I was put in situations where I might not be sitting here talking to you today if it wasn't for one of them. Now, the comment that idiot made was just stupid. I can't get with this whole Christianity thing, and I'll tell you that, that's why I'm not a religious person now, because religion is stupid. Yes, I said it. Religion is stupid. It it has no place in our society, but religion will get you killed every time, and you allow people use religion to say what they want to say and get their platform across and do their things. Man, get out of here.
I'm getting a hit from True. True said, who said Muslims are godless because they don't believe in the God of Christianity? For all you Christians, he gives you Matthew 7:1. Matthew 7:1 basically says, judge not, basically, unless you want to be judged yourself. So I certainly respect that. Hey, look, ladies, y'all don't want no comment. Joy's co-signing. She don't want no comment in that either. Oh, you want something now?
Yeah, I said I had a chance to think about
Diva,
it.
you want to jump in?
I mean, I feel like I was brought up a Christian, but I question, my Christianity all the time because of people like that. It's like, you think because you're a Christian, you're better or bigger than other people. And you're just another person who sins just like that Muslim or just like any other religion, Hindu or whatever. It's not fair. Like, for them to say that only Christians will go to this place called heaven, but everybody else on earth is going to hell. I just never thought that was right for them to judge like that, because nobody knows, the true creator, what his judgment is going to be on any of us,
Right.
no matter what our religion is. So, I mean, I agree with you, Joe.
That question, Diva, is what led me on my path away from Christianity and in turn away from religion. Whereas I choose to be a spiritual person who is more one with the Creator and not to align myself with one doctrine, because you find yourself choosing sides all the time, saying things like, well, my way is the right way, and if you choose not to go my way, then you're wrong. And
It's like a gang.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you wanted to look at it that way, for all the Christians out there who think they got it right, I ask you what happened before the year 0. I mean, and everything in BC. I mean, and I'm sure if you sit and you talk to one, especially one who's well versed on the Bible and being questioned, they'll give you a debate and they'll give you an argument and then they'll they'll tell you, well, it's all about faith. I mean, I respect that. I don't want to make this about Christianity versus Islam, but I want to make it about how a lot of people actually believe this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they believe that, you know, by virtue of you choosing to be a Muslim, you are someone that's going to automatically strap a bomb to yourself and go blow up some shit. And, you know, if I'm to believe that, then I guess I'm to believe that every single white Christian is going to put on a white sheet and string up the next black man they see. This is how stupid you sound, evangelical Fox News Christian. That's
And
how you sound.
What he's doing is justifying violence against people who are of other religious backgrounds.
Yeah,
That's what he's doing.
This is the reason why people look at Fox News, unless you watch it. But people look at them and like, yo, for real. I mean, as a, you know, Joe can speak to this more for himself than anyone else, but, you know, there are certain Republican tenets that I absolutely agree with, and you know, Joe is an actual Republican. He don't want to admit it, but he is. But don't nobody want to vote for these people because they get caught up saying shit like that. I would much rather, I get fired up sometimes. So if you're offended by the word shit, I'm sorry. I won't say shit. I won't say shit no more. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy and that radio. We can take a break. When we come back, we got the dating pool diva doing what she's here to do. We got the Diva Diaries. I got Big Joe. I got the dating pool diva. I got the co-host SY. I got Mr. LP Steven Sykes and our mystery guest whose wife is listening to us tonight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live for the Den. Legacy and that radio. We'll be back in a few minutes, y'all.